many of these videos you've been watching, but this one here is dedicated for the entrepreneurs. It's for those thought leaders that exist in large-scale organisations. Once again, these are the aspiring leaders. Quite often they're the high potentials or high pots, as the jargon goes, in large organisations. This could be public sector working for government, this could be NGOs, or it could be for-profit businesses, banking sector, financial services, it really doesn't matter. The idea is really quite simple. We need to attract, retain and develop the best people, because in the developed world, you need the competitive advantage of awesome people working for you. And for us, we think that this is about figuring out how to take a small number of them and develop their capabilities as subject matter experts within your business. You get the double win. You get the expertise in your business developed, so that's the intellectual property. But if you do it right, you also get the positioning lift in the marketplace. So the way we see it is that when you look at super talented people, they have 5 primary drivers. And those drivers are why they turn up to work. And in this graphic that we're going to unpack here, you're going to see the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st. And it's about identifying the top 3 drivers that most of your people will have and making sure that any development program you have respects those. And we believe that enterprising thought leadership, taking this idea of thought leadership and running it, enterprising the verb, running it through your business is going to have a massive impact on the talented people staying and developing awesome stuff while they're with you, right? So let's make no bones about it. The 5th of the 5 primary drivers is this idea of money. And if you've got great money, then give it to your best people. But we understand that you don't always have a heap of money. Equally, the 4th driver is this idea of position. And if you can promote them or you can give them some position within your organisation, awesome. But if you don't have the money and you don't have the job opportunities for them, quite often they leave. But we think there are 3 other reasons why the highly talented want to work for you. And if you can figure out a way to organise your culture so that you address these, everything gets great. We believe letting us run an enterprising thought leadership program through your organisation will help you achieve significant inroads on these 3 main drivers. The 3rd driver, and we're working towards number 1, counting down, the 3rd driver is definitely a learning driver. They want to be growing, they want to be learning while they're with you, kind of like improving their skills while they're at your place. And if you don't have the money and you don't have the promotion, but there's opportunity for them to grow, they'll quite often work for less money and not necessarily the position. But for this to work, it's got to be self-directed learning. You can't put them in some cookie-cutter Myers-Briggs program or LSI program. They're fantastic programs. But I've got to say, some of your best and brightest, some of your super smart people aren't going to respond really well to them. And I think your return on training dollar is going to go down dramatically. But see, if they're working on their thought leadership, not only is that intellectual property coming into your business, but they're growing and learning. It's like they're doing a career PhD. And if we put them through an enterprising thought leadership program, that's exactly what happens. We supervise them through a career PhD. We have a graduation ceremony at the end called a Thought Leadership Conference, where your internal talented people present the ideas they've been working on back into either your client base, if you're happy to go there, or even just to your internal audience, just to share the great ideas. It's super powerful. Now, the second one is a lot of us will turn up. So of the 5, this one over here, a lot of people will turn up because they like working for their mates. And we believe that culture is critical to managing best and brightest. But look, no surprises there, right? But the piece we think that's really key about this is it's got to be a culture that acknowledges and recognises the individual. It's got to be a rock star culture. You've got to figure out a way to make sure anybody, no matter what level they are in your organisation, gets the recognition for their great ideas and their achievements. And unfortunately, some cultures are a bit too institutional, a bit too hierarchical, and what happens is your best and brightest go, you know what, my boss is going to stick my good idea and steal it and take away. What's the opportunity for me? So we've got to make sure that, number 2, you've got a culture that acknowledges and respects the individual. Which leads us to number 1 in my countdown of the 5 key drivers for why your best and brightest are going to work for you. And that is legacy. They need to feel like, you know, they can 10 years down the track working for someone else, point back to the time they worked for you and go, I made that, I did that when I worked in your company. They kind of want to invent your iPod. And if you let them, this is the key to unlocking innovation in your business. It's not teaching creative thinking. Your best and brightest already are thinking outside the box. It's rather about helping them feel like they did something momentous and something significant while they were with you. And look, you can take them to some kind of philanthropic venture, you can create new meaning in that area, and that's great. But quite often the super talented are on a career roller coaster where they're trying to take it to the moon if they could. And the problem is if they don't feel like what they're doing is significant, like their creations are significant, they're going to leave. And we reckon these 5 drivers are key to enterprising thought leadership. And we think that the top 3 can be delivered in a 12-month program. So what we do is we come into your organisation, you identify a dozen to 20 of your super talented, and we take care of them for a year, helping them develop learning that's self-directed by creating a professional PhD. We help them get acknowledgement through the activities, the publishing and the presenting that we create for them. And ultimately, this piece of work that they leave as videos, as intellectual property, as corporately owned books, if you like, they're all an example of legacy. And if you really want to attract, retain and develop your best people, then we think enterprising thought leadership is simply the best solution, hands down.